Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again today. Yesterday I was trying to reach you guys from Athens in Greece, but the battery of my phone died while I was in transit, and today I just want to spend a few minutes talking to you guys. Thanks so much for everyone for joining yesterday, and I hope you join us today just to catch up. I saw that a lot of you were eager to hear from us, and you've been eager to hear from us for a while, or hear from me for a while. Again, we had to do some resting, some traveling as well, and some catching up on a personal level, and also for people to see the difference over the last 1.5 years that we did major campaigning about how to take Nigeria back, and where we are today. So I'm not in Greece only to talk to our people, but to attend a conference. There's a global editors network programming going on here in Greece, and that brought me to Athens. And as I'll show you in a bit, this is probably one of the nicest cities I've ever been in the world. But this always important to understand that in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even perhaps now, Nigeria was at the time richer than this country, Greece. But if you look at what they did with the little resources, they have no oil, they don't have gold, they don't have anything. They just rely sometimes even on handouts from the European Union. But since I came here, I've seen like some of the nicest roads. Electricity being constant, their streets clean, and a lot of Nigerians here as well, as a matter of fact. And by tomorrow, I will be meeting with the Nigerian community here this Saturday in Athens, so that you can meet some of our guys who are here doing well. So nothing serious right now. I just like to connect with you when I'm traveling, so that you can see the other parts of the world. You can see what people do with their own lives, and the opportunities that we missed during the last election, and the opportunity that will continue to miss us if we don't do something serious about our country. You just had recently the inauguration of a new president in Nigeria, and I know no one of you is excited, at least not on our side. I mean, our own supporters. And what they did with the election, you can't call it an election. It was all a scam. And here we are. We haven't even gone far, and things are falling apart in Nigeria. And it doesn't look like things will get better. I'm not saying it to be pessimistic. I'm saying it to be realistic and to be factual. That we haven't seen anything in the horizon right now with the current Nigerian leadership to show that we are not and one chance once again. The president, as usual, has not renewed the tenure of even his common aides. People like Garbashev, all of them are acting extra legally. They have not been reappointed. It doesn't look like they will appoint ministers anytime soon. They might, but I do not expect that they'll give us or they'll give Nigerians ministers that you can be proud of. So the earlier we start thinking about how this will become part and parcel of looking into the future, the better for us. And the important thing is for us to continue to have synergy, fight, organize, and stop agonizing about Nigeria. I have said it after the election that one of the things we need to do right away is to start thinking about a revolution, and I'm serious about it. And the more I travel around the world and in some of these small countries, the more I travel around Nigeria, which I did extensively during the election, the more I see the need for this revolution that we're talking about. That without some form of an upheaval, we will not see in Nigeria or the future that all of us can be proud of. So it's the reason I'm always talking to you, and I will continue to do so. Sorry that I haven't been as frequent as I wanted to be. It is not easy to do so many of the things we did during the election, considering that apart from the regular politicians, we in AAC and TakeItBack movement had regular jobs. We have our daytime job. We don't rely on politics as a means of survival. That's part of what is killing Nigeria. So we had to, as many of you do, work very hard, earn our own living, and to do what is right every day. And you realize that we will get back in shape when you have people like us or people like yourselves who actually do something for a living, and not people who only hope to get something when they get into office. So there's the level of suffering that was visited upon Nigeria immediately after election is very clear. Those things that we stood for, ideas that we espoused, were the best. And people are talking about them tomorrow. They're talking about June 12th, talking about all of our policies on healthcare, education, agriculture, infrastructure, power, and everything is now the dominant idea. I was reading the other day that Dangote is talking about the fact that in the last 18 years, Nigeria hasn't been able to add up to 1,000 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. But Dangote is repeating the things we said, that without electricity, we cannot move forward, and that the electricity sector, the power sector in Nigeria is being held to ransom by cabal in the country, which I'm sure Dangote is also very part of. So don't be distracted that, we will eventually and firmly and permanently be in that place and position to take our country back, and there's no going back about it. I will be returning home. As you know, I'm all over the place because what needs to happen in Nigeria is a global movement and effort, and we will lead that. And it's not about me alone. It's about recruiting Nigerians, ensuring that we fight for those things that are important for our lives and survival in the next 4 years and beyond. Is to start building the foundation for it. Yes, I agree with so many of you that said, we should ensure that we start early in the game and make sure that we are in the eyes and minds of our people. But it's all about all of us, and it's to have a synergy between home and abroad. People who love their country but cannot afford to live in those countries. We've had more people migrate out of Nigeria, and today I'm talking about migration at this conference and how it is covered by journalists around the world. We had people migrate out of Nigeria in the last 2 years than we've seen, even though that over the period of June 12 and SAP, Structural Adjustment Program, because people just cannot afford to live in Nigeria. Nigeria has become an unlivable place, and you find a situation where even people who are in government offices, public officials, are out there writing exams to migrate to Canada. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. But you see, as I often tell you, Nigerians are surviving everywhere. As you'll see tomorrow, I went out last night here in Athens to find that there's a flourishing Nigerian community, people who are hardworking. And one thing though is that they would love to go back to their country. They want their country to minimally be like here, Greece, Athens. They want to have good roads, electricity, water supply, be able to send their children to school, have healthcare. It's just something that are basic, and what other people or other countries take for granted. So in a bit, I will show you around here. We're actually somewhere called the Lighthouse in Athens, and from there you can see a little bit of Athens. I invite you to see Athens with me. I'm going to walk around it. But this is Athens right here. This is from the Lighthouse, and I'm going to try and go to the edge so you can see in front of you, or in front of us, is the city of Athens. Almost from here you can see the entire city, almost from here, and that is the beachfront over there. Just interestingly, you'll be surprised that Nigerian politicians are also here buying houses. That's what I was told last night. They say they love to come here. There's an island not far from here, where some of them have tres homes. So this is Athens. This is part of the conference I came for. People in the background, they are part of this conference, and I'm going to walk you to the other side of Athens. Just see how countries function and how countries are deliberately built to just be a place that their people are proud of. And if you remember, a few years ago, Greece was in turmoil, economic turmoil. They had no money, and they had an economic meltdown. But they somehow have recovered, and what I saw here didn't show that they had the kind of meltdown that we have. We in Nigeria have perpetually been in a state of economic meltdown over this year. So I'm just walking you around on top of this lighthouse so that you can see Athens. I'm showing you the right side of Athens, showing you the left side of Athens from where I'm standing. So it's a very interesting place. It's a stadium right in front of us there, and it's just to show to you that there's no excuse for the way Lagos is. There's no excuse for the way Abuja is. There's no excuse for the way Bauchi, Kano, Kaduna is, Owerri, Port Harcourt, Benin City, Akure, Abeokuta. No excuse for the terrible condition of our own country and our people. So this is it's just showing you around almost 360 degrees, guys, of the city of Athens. So this is not to say that they don't have their own challenges. They do, but it's just that whereas they have people who are tackling their challenges, it looks to me like there is no one out there in Nigeria who is interested in tackling our own challenges. They are only interested in using our challenges for their own economic benefits, and that's why we're different, why our situation is the way they are. So I'm happy to reconnect with all of you again, and happy that we will be talking again. I will be doing more and more of these live streams. It may not be at the kind of frequency we used to have before, but we will be talking. So it's just right now at this point we have as a matter of fact 360 degrees of Athens. So I'm going to greet all of you who have regularly joined us. I see Ola Johnson there. I see Andy Obey watching. Wherever you may be around the world in Nigeria, let me just say good afternoon from the city of Athens. And for those of you who are here in Greece, Athens in particular, we have a town hall meeting tomorrow. Just a meeting with the community here to keep discussing the future of Nigeria. So if you can stop by, that would be great. I'm hearing from the organizers that there's a good interest in this. If you want to find out about it, if you're in Athens, you can inbox me. I'll send you the contact for the organizers who are doing a great job at this point. So guys, that's pretty much what I want to do this afternoon, and just to say hello to everybody. If you have any questions, next 5-10 minutes, this broadcast will be wrapping up. You can ask me, and I will try and address them. But if you don't have, you might just be on the lookout for the town hall meeting here tomorrow, which is starting at 5 p.m. To discuss